Hey, ESL 106, we're going to look today at Skill 10 in your book. We're starting Unit 4. Wow, we're really almost finished. So open your book up. I'm on page 228, and I just want to review with you this skill. It's really something we've been doing all along. It's called reading for specific purposes. And I want to show you what I mean by that, and maybe what the book means by that. So here I am, I'm on page 228. And when we talk about reading for specific purposes, we're really going to think about these different types of reading. So I'll move up here. Good. These 4 words come to mind. These are different types of reading that we can do. And here's my question. When do you use these? Skimming, scanning, thorough reading, critical reading? When are each of these helpful to you? So let's talk first about skimming. Skimming is something that you're going to do when you are reading quickly and just trying to find the main ideas. You just want to know what it's about. You want to know maybe the title, the heading, the first sentence, the last sentence. You're trying to gather information to see if this is an article you want to read. Skimming is really important as a way of previewing an article, right? And I'm often asking you, preview the article, tell me what you think it's about before you start reading the first paragraph carefully. Skimming will help you be a better reader if you can locate yourself, figure out what is this article about before you start reading. And here, let's practice. I'm going to give you some practice skimming. So in your book, 228, they have, and onto page 229, there's a 3-paragraph article, we'll call it. What's the title? How many sections? And what's it about? What's the topic of this article? I'll give you a minute to skim. So hopefully you were able to see, here's the title, The New Plastic. And there are 3 paragraphs, as I said. Those are sort of the only sections we have here. It's short. And what is this about? Well, when I skimmed quickly, I saw that they were talking about packaging, materials used for packaging. Good. That gives us enough to get started. We've got the topics at least. What are they talking about here? And now I'm going to ask you to do something different, and that's scan. So scan is reading quickly, but looking for specific information. It's the kind of thing a computer does really well, looking for a date or looking for a person, looking for specific pieces of information. So here are 3 more questions, actually 4, for you to find. Scan those 3 paragraphs again and find these 4 questions. Find the answers. You might want to pause here. I'm going to keep moving. So you can see that paragraph 1 gives me the first answer, talking about styrofoam. That's another word for polystyrene. And I get that answer in the first sentence. And as I read further in that paragraph 1, I find out this is used for packaging, for food, for drinks, cups of coffee. And then I get into paragraph 2 to find out about a new product. So styrofoam, polystyrene, that's the old product. Something new is introduced. It's called mycelium. I saw that in paragraph 2. And they said that's made of mushrooms, of the roots of mushrooms. So hopefully you were able to find quickly just this basic information. Your next step is to now actually read these 3 paragraphs. And I call this thorough reading. Now you're trying to understand, what is the first paragraph about? This old packaging. What is the next paragraph telling me with this new packaging? And then the third paragraph is really bringing home the main idea. What is the main idea? So go ahead and read these 3 paragraphs now. You might want to pause and see if you can understand what this article is about. I'm going to give you a few questions, not those, these. I'm going to give you these questions, true or false, to answer as you read. So let's keep going. Go ahead and pause if you're still reading. You can see that we found out the first one is false, and that was based on what we read in paragraph 1. It's not good for the environment. It's actually a problem. We found out in paragraph 2 that the new product is a lot better. It does a lot better in the garden, in the land, in the environment. And then the last one, mycelium is made of plastic. They call it the new plastic, but false. It's not made of plastic. And I see that in paragraph 2. We talked about it's being made from the roots of mushrooms. Good work, guys. You're reading, you're thorough reading. Here's the last step, and that is critical reading. When we think about critical reading, now we're talking about responding to these ideas, actually asking questions like, why? Why is this important? And where have I seen this? And is this important to me? Do I agree with this? And this is when reading really becomes interesting, when we can bring in our life experience into the text that we're reading. So looking back on this text that you've been reading, try to answer these 3 questions, 4 questions, 3 of them with why, and one of them is just, what is the advantage? Why is this a good thing? Take a look at these questions, and I'll give you a minute. You might want to pause to answer them. So as you look at the critical reading here, we find out, and I just gave direct quotes from the article. In paragraph 1, we find out that polystyrene is so popular because it's really light, stable, inexpensive. It's always the least expensive dinnerware if you're getting paper plates. The styrofoam plates are very cheap. But what's the problem? Why is polystyrene a problem? And they talk about this also in paragraph 1. They talk about it takes hundreds of years for it to break down in your garden or in the landfill, in the trash, wherever you put it. Paragraph 3 talks about the advantage of this new product. In contrast to the styrofoam, paragraph 3 says this new product, the mycelium, will disappear in your garden in about a month. It's easy to break down. And then I found, why is this called the new plastic? I really found this just looking in paragraph 3. Towards the end, they say, so we're going to call this the new plastic. It's going to take the place of all that packaging material that we've used styrofoam for. So good work, guys. I have one more thing I want you to do as you use your critical reading skills, and that is taking a look at some of the vocabulary and context in these 3 paragraphs. So here, look at paragraph 1 and tell me, what would you say a good synonym is for this expression, what happens when you throw that cup away? What does throw away in that sentence? What does it mean? A, B, or C? And the next question is this word mold. Place the mixture in a mold that has the right shape for packaging. That was in paragraph 2. What does mold mean here? A, B, or C? I'm going to give you my answers. So I said to throw something away means to put it in the trash. That's what they're talking about in paragraph 1. And then for this one, it was something that shapes things. And hopefully you saw that right here in the mold that has the right shape. It's not talking about mold on food or cheese. It's talking about something that's shaping an object. Good work. You can see that there's more practice for you. If you turn the page, skill practice 1 is a really nice practice. In fact, here, let's just do it together quickly. And you might want to pause because I'm going to keep moving quickly. But looking at skill practice 1, now I'm on page 230. What is this article about? It's a short article. How many paragraphs? What's the topic? What do you think? So hopefully you can see that this is just a short article, 4 paragraphs. It's called the Mohs Hardness Scale. And what is that about? What do you use a Mohs Hardness Scale for? I want you to keep thinking about that. And here they give you 4 different questions. This is a scan. This is looking for pieces of information in those 4 paragraphs. So I'm going to give you just a minute. You'll probably want to pause and take 2 minutes maybe to do this. Try to find these 4 pieces of information. Do this scan. Pause here. So hopefully you found these answers. Number 1 was 1822. I see that in paragraph 2. They talk about the year. Number 2, I found also in paragraph 2, talking about 1 is the soft, and it goes up to 10, which is the hardest. Number 3, also in paragraph 2, they give us an example with quartz. Quartz is a rock. And they said, for example, quartz is a 7 on that Mohs hardness scale. It's giving me an idea that this is something used to rank different materials and how hard they are, rocks, minerals. Number 4, how are abrasives used? I went to paragraph 3 for this. Hopefully you found that, talking about using abrasives to cut, to polish these softer materials or rocks can be cut and polished. So good work. That was your scanning exercise. Here, just do one more. And that's on the next page for skimming. You have to tell me, are these true or false based on this article, based on these 4 paragraphs? Would you say true or false for each of these? You might want to pause here, but only give yourself 4 minutes. So here are my answers. You can see I found the first one in paragraph 2, talking about scratch tests for hardness. In paragraph 2, they make the point that they go back as far as ancient Greece. And that's a long time. That's back in BC history. Number 2, hardness is determined by the strength of its atomic bonds. Yeah, they told me that in paragraph 1. That's true. But number 3, the Mohs scale requires special equipment. I see in paragraph 2 that that's false. Paragraph 2 says something about it's easy to use. It requires no special tools or equipment. And then the last one, the Mohs scale is useful for scientists. And I said false. I'm looking here at paragraph 3. Just the first sentence says the scale is not precise enough for scientists. It's not really what they use. It's more just for regular people. So good work.